Oh my God, George, you caused us to be late. George, what the hell, man? We're late. You're like running around, like doing
Hey,
circles and
hey,
stuff.
hey,
I mean,
hey,
come on, bro.
hey. There you go.
All right, George. So let's start off. George, you have to buy a boat. We were just
Oh,
talking about. You just
yeah,
have to.
we were
You want to buy
just
a boat? We were just talking about. What was your exact quote?
so this MCP stuff, for
Mm-hmm.
whatever it's worth, it's critical to anybody selling on the internet, as well as other things naturally. But you go to buy I want to buy a boat. I go on to Boat Trader and some of those other sites. I want a specific configuration. It's not in their filter, so it shows me all these other boats that I don't really want. So I go to ChatGPT
Yep.
and I say, find me the boat. And it starts searching. Thus comes the situation.
Yeah, that's right.
Because
If you're
ChatGPT
not in,
found things and it looked all over. Some of the links it found weren't right, some were right. It was actually honing in, but there's the thing, and what we're about to talk about, MCP, it would
if,
be there.
yes, if you were, so basically, we're going to talk about the MCP protocol. So George, you're going to talk about that first, and then from there, we're going to dig into the oh my gosh. People better be paying attention because if you're going to be playing in an AI world, your head has got to be deep into this. George and I are even talking about changing the design of his current class to map up to this to help people be able to figure out how to use MCP appropriately. So, George, first thing first, tell us all about MCP. What the heck is it?
So, model context protocol. So, if we take there's probably different ways to look at this, but let's take a step back into what was going on. And by the way, some of you out there might be doing this now. You see all this AI craze, so you create AI apps to try to make it so that and that app could be something you're doing independently or you're doing with consultants, and you're maybe using large language models that are open source or large language models that come from OpenAI, Anthropic, from Google, Gemini. Well, there's retrieval augmented generation. You do these things to put your content in there, or GPTs or gems.
Yep.
All cool. This is how fast this stuff evolves.
Yeah.
When you build those models, any of you that built anything or heard about anybody building stuff, you use APIs to get things from other servers, maybe some from SharePoint or from another source. APIs are how you grab that content. It's a lot of work. All right. Model context protocol brings in a whole different set of technology that lets a lets a connection occur to the MCP server, and the MCP server then has connections on the other end with all kinds of sources.
All of them. It's all done. Set up for you. The
And
USB of the
you,
USB of accessing an LLM.
there you go, USB. Yep. So essentially, now you have this connection, and then the server's connected to everything out in the world. When you think about it, what does that mean in the end? How does that apply to what you want to do? Well, let me take this one step back and talk about what we're going into today. ChatGPT on a couple weeks ago or so announced MCP connection to it. What that means is 800 million people now can come through ChatGPT to something that is in that server. If you have a source of content, whether it's education, and by the way, Coursera became
Is
a
in
part
there.
of this, or Canva creating PowerPoint slides,
Figma's deep in the MCP right now, big
Figma.
time.
So here, if we took a step back and said, hey, you're the CTO at Coursera. You have all these courses. How are you going to get your people to have an AI instructor or AI assistant? You probably got some budget off to the side and you're building some large language model. Maybe you create some GPTs or gems. Then you got to advertise that and try to get it to people. Meanwhile, 800 million people use ChatGPT every day. They type in something to say, I want to take a course or learn something. They're not accessing your stuff. So you're asking them to not use ChatGPT, to use something else that might be somewhat foreign. Push it to market the heck out of it to get it to them.
Yeah, you have to drive it. Yeah, you have to drive people to this thing that you built.
Now look at this new world. ChatGPT is on MCP. You connect into that MCP server with your content, and all of a sudden 800 million people have access to your content. And back to the boat thing. I'm trying to buy a boat. I told ChatGPT, I want a 23-foot boat. I want it to be salt water. I want to have this particular type of engine. I only want to spend this much money. Go find it.
Go find it.
It tries to search all over the place. It found some things, but imagine if you were a boat trader and you put MCP, that boat, if you have
that would be your first thing that got there. So now take even another step back. How many times do you use Google search now versus ChatGPT for information, George?
Let's ask the people in the chat. You know, I know you probably hear, oh, everyone's going to go start using AI instead of Google. I tell you, it is really, and some of you probably see, it's much easier when you're trying to find something.
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you, I got I could go off 5 stories right now of hard to get things that people came to me for, and I found in 2 seconds, and showed them how to buy it in 2 seconds.
Yep.
So
but the problem,
I very seldom use Google search right now, even though the revenue went up to $100 billion.
Yep.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And we reported $100 billion of revenue.
And we do know the problem with all of this is ChatGPT is great if it can find content, and we all know what AI's fault is. When it can't find something, it hallucinates, and it tries to hallucinate in a manner that seems authentic.
You should be smart. Aren't you? Okay, you're smart. Just like if I hear something I think is crap that you say, I'm gonna hit the BS button on you, right?
Yep.
So if I'm engaging this thing and it looks stupid, hey, that's stupid. Let's go back and reevaluate what we're working on here, dude.
Right.
Why? It's hallucinating, but you gotta use your brain.
Yep. And so think of this world that we're moving towards now that just happened like within the last 2 weeks. If you take us back to the year 2000, there was a point where businesses were saying, I wonder if I should do a website for my business. Do I need a URL? You know, I'm on marketing. I'm in the yellow pages. I'm sending out marketing brochures. I'm using direct mail to register people. I'm doing direct mail. I'm doing all kinds of stuff like that to get people into my product. Today, it's an automatic. You have to have a website to survive. Well, guess what? Whether it's ChatGPT or it's going to be Google Gemini or it's going to be Anthropic Claude,
you have to hook into it. You have to MCP into it.
You have to MCP into that if you have a product, because that's how they'll find you. That's how they're going to get your product. That's how they're going to get whatever service or content that you want them to have. Now, I know what the big one is. Some of you have to be saying, wait a minute. If I put something out there like content from Coursera, how do I make money? How do I monetize that? Guess what? Today, it starts out with OAuth. When you go get something that is in ChatGPT that comes in via MCP, you're only entitled to the level that you are authenticated with that server. So when you go into Coursera, it's going to say, hey, you need to log in, and then Coursera's server through OAuth
says, okay, I'm going to give you this portion to look at.
Because that's what you paid for.
It's like authentication. It's a connected authentication, not loop, but it's connecting you through, and you're getting security authenticated, and it's something you pay for, but you're getting it through
something you paid for.
You're getting it through ChatGPT instead of some crazy crappy search that
there you go.
Came through. And that's the thing. And you can override it. Maybe you're talking about something else, and then your Coursera stuff pops in, so you can take what OpenAI gave you and reference it to your Coursera stuff, read the Coursera stuff, and do maybe some critical thinking between what Coursera says and what OpenAI says. Ooh, that's pretty interesting. You're actually using some critical thinking skills.
Yep. And
So
think
I
of
keep saying
this.
we're going to jump around, but I want to make sure, because until I read this, I was like, come on, I had to spend an hour today really, really reading about it to kind of get it. So we've talked externally. So if I am an internet retail company and I have stuff externally selling to the web, and everybody's going into OpenAI to search, if I don't
Right.
use the MCP thing, there's a good chance that my product will not come up in those searches
Or come up incorrectly.
or come up incorrectly. Okay.
Yep.
I connect to OpenAI or to Claude or whatever model you're going to open into. I connect in with MCP. Then if somebody searches for legal services because I sped too fast, my law firm is connected. They're going to pop up.
Yep.
And
And
I can
if I'm a customer of that law firm when it comes up, ChatGPT will direct you over to that, or in your settings, you can go to a thing called Connect in your ChatGPT settings, and it'll say Connect, and you'll see the law firm there. And you would click that, and then it's going to say allow you to do this. Somebody says, "Can you define MCP?" It's called Model Context Protocol. Anthropic created it. They're the makers of Claude, somewhat connected to Amazon, and they're the ones that created it. Its purpose was to allow AI systems and agents and all of that to gain access to all of these things besides text. Because we know all the text stuff works, but how do we go buy something at the grocery store or order something, or something that we want to watch, or something that we want to buy an airline ticket? All of those services you would have to API connect to Instacart or to Kayak, or to hotels.com. Now you connect to MCP. If hotels.com connects to MCP, you'll get it. But by the way, maybe bookings.com says, I don't want hotels.com to get this, so I'm going to be here too.
Yep. Now they're going to have both.
You'll get to choose. Yep.
And because you're using MCP, the chance for hallucination starts dropping drastically because it's pulling right into that website. It's like RAG on steroids, right? I mean, when this started, you couldn't even search specific content. RAG comes along, then you can search specific content, which significantly reduced hallucinations. Now, if you use MCP, you can still go back out without specific content and trust the information at a higher level.
Yes. And I'll add one other thing. Today, we all have to try to take our product and get it to be AI driven. That is a tremendous amount of money you have to spend.
And they don't do it right. They don't do it right. The vectoring's wrong. The hallucinations are high. But the reports I see is that most AI projects from vendors and from companies doing LLMs fail miserably, George. What is it, 95%?
Yeah.
Throw your thing out there. Come on.
Yeah, it's 95%. Think of this. You're United Airlines and we're sitting in a meeting and you're saying, you know what, Boeing and Airbus, I don't like their planes. Why don't we build an airplane? And we have the money. But why are we doing that? Why are we doing it? Yeah, why are we doing it? Let's just be an airline. So if you do whatever you do, let the AI companies like Anthropic, Gemini, and OpenAI, let them do the AI. Now, I'll tell you what a future is. A future will be something in between. This is the future. And by the way, now
come on, Kurtzwell. Kurtzwell, tell me the future, Ray Kurtzwell. What is it?
Here's the chance to make the flashlight app. There will be some of you that know that you just can't go to Instacart. That you want to go to Instacart plus a health app plus this plus get your medical info and then design a perfect diet. Okay, create that. Create your own MCP, bring those things into your MCP, and then you offer yourself to ChatGPT. So I think you'll have services that combine things. Right now, you could do it yourself. Maybe the easiest analogy is this. When Coursera is there, you will be able to have ChatGPT teach you because it will use the Coursera content. But you know what? It might not be the best teacher, and you might
Yep.
know how to teach that content better. Maybe you should ingest Coursera content and then you offer it to ChatGPT, and people will get to you because they're going to say, use the intelligent instructor. And that will trigger MCP to get you.
Interesting. So we're talking about some external stuff. Let's go back to the premise that we said that nobody should create their own large language model anymore, ever. Right? So
unless you're very specific.
How do you get away from so I got a couple clients, right, who want desperately to utilize this capability, but the fear factor is high. So if I pitch them MCP from an internal standpoint, now we're talking about internal. Here's my ERP. It's here in my data center. I want to MCP it to the algorithm of Anthropic, and then I want my people using Anthropic to get data from that ERP. It's possible now. Securely.
Yep.
Securely.
Security's your security. No, it's OAuth. It's OAuth. You can't get anything that you're not authenticated to receive.
There you go. This is what people are. So if I'm using MCP, like you said, go back to the example you said about the lawyer, right? So go back to the example of the law firm. If I have an ERP and I have a password into that ERP, and I want to use my Anthropic Claude to analyze the data in that ERP, when I go through Claude to get to it, I'm going to have to
authenticate. It's going to pop a window.
And I have to authenticate again.
Yeah, it's going to say authenticate. And by the way, you're going to then leave Claude. You're going to go to the web server of your legal company. You're going to go to your customer profile and you're going to say allow. You guys probably some of you do that with different things like Instacart or something like that. It says allow this, allow this search to do this, allow your location to be released, things like that. When you're doing that, now you're going to get allow ChatGPT to use this. That's how that will feel.
How do you start coaching companies that is secure?
Well, it's as secure as the internet. To whatever extent you're secure on the internet, you're secure in ChatGPT. It's not going to be any different.
All right. Now, isn't it similar to why people were scared of the cloud to begin with then? So the story, remember when people started wanting to go to the cloud and everybody said, oh my God, you can't go to the cloud. It's insecure. You should never put your stuff up on the cloud. Is it reminiscent of that now?
I think it's as secure, but we have to make sure that we deal with companies who have high security levels. So, be careful. I don't want to say only buy from OpenAI or only buy from Anthropic, but they're going to have your content maybe deeper than they used to have your content, know things about you that are deeper. So you got to really trust that the security level of the provider that has the MCP is capable of supporting that.
Well, by the way, are they showing that? Are they showing? Go ahead, George. I'm sorry.
I'm going to give you one more example too. I was on a call yesterday working on some federal contracts and talking about MCP, obviously Model Context Protocol, and the government's trying to figure out what do I do with that? How would it help me? And I gave them an example. Immigration. We actually were talking to a group that was connected to immigration. So they're saying, why would I care about doing this? If the immigration servers that the government has, not a website, right now you can go to a website and try to figure out how to get into the United States and become a citizen. Go have fun. You usually have to hire a lawyer or someone to figure out what all that said. Well, MCP could put that into ChatGPT. They could say, why should I do that? I pulled up the website for ChatGPT. I just pulled up ChatGPT and I said, I want to immigrate into the US. Here's some information. I showed it to them and they said, well, that's not totally right. That's old. I go, there you go.
Exactly.
Because I said, there are people in the United States reading this website right now, doing what it says because they didn't hire a lawyer. and they think the AI is smart.
There you go. And the people don't realize that the data, and if you're not using RAG, if you're not using a preset
Yep.
amount of content, then you're working off of information that's 9 months to 12 months old.
Yep.
Or unless you using RAG specifically reference a website, right? If you go to, I want to go to the US custom blah, blah, blah website, put the website in, then you're going to get relevant information. But if you're doing the generic crapola, it's interesting, George. It's so interesting that you presented that to him. So how did they react again?
Well, they were like, "Oh, we got it." They didn't really heard. They haven't heard of MCP.
Yep.
So really now we talk about how that works. And any of you that have content that's valuable to your customer base, like we started this out with Boat Trader. If you're in cars.com or any of that.
The used car people need to be all over this. The car people have to be on top of this immediately.
Yeah, because I want to spend $55,000. I want this car. I want it to be blue.
And
and it has to be 300 miles from me.
Their search sucks. This is the other premise. People think their search is good. Have you run into a website with any really good search? All of them suck.
Yeah.
Car takes you an hour. All right, let me go over here, over there. Yes.
Yeah. Laura brings up real estate. And the cool thing, we're talking about, because we're so used to internet, we're talking about at that level. You can take this so much deeper. Like as Laura brought up real estate, you could say, I want to find a place in the US that maybe doesn't have, as much crime, has better schools, is great for 10-year-olds. I mean, you could put a lot of stuff into ChatGPT to get it very specific. Then it go find that.
Find that. Now, some of that data might be older, but if you're using MCP, the house listings will be just in time.
Yep. Yeah.
So here's the other question. Here's where it goes back to. I never opened up OpenAI. I never opened up Claude. Okay, you never opened up. But if you're a business owner and you believe that your clients are opening up Claude or opening up OpenAI, then, like you said, you've got to do it. Just like you had to build a website. Even though people said, I never have to build a website. You're going to have to do this if you want to stay competitive, if you believe that this isn't just a flash in the pan.
Yeah, and it really looks like, and any of you try it, you'll see that the usage of AI for web search, which is kind of a really simple thing to use it for, is so much better. But just think of what's going to come in the future. At some point, you might be able to do your taxes. Right now, you can't do your taxes.
Well, Sam Altman would want us to just come in and OpenAI starts your computer. Remember, when you bought a Chromebook, it would start with Google search.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
There's a scenario where they might start manufacturing laptops, and all it does is open into OpenAI. And now the laptop has an internet connection, and that's it, because you don't even need processing, because you're not doing anything except for going out to the cloud. Right. And so what percentage of companies know about this? I don't think anybody really knows. Yeah, it's SEO on steroids for sure, Ron. Go ahead, George.
SEO on steroids. You guys got to try this sometime, because I do this for my clients. They want me to help them do competitive analysis. Usually it's against another company, but it's funny. You guys should go on ChatGPT or Gemini, run a Gemini Deep research on your own company against your competitor and say, why should I buy my product?
That's a great idea. No, that's a great idea. No, people. So here's a question I have, and this is one I couldn't quite ferret out from the data. Do I have to direct my MCP to one specific environment, or if I set it up, can I open it up to Claude, to Gemini, to OpenAI?
So let me change the context of what you were saying.
Yeah,
for all of you out there, to just take advantage of ChatGPT, and you can call us if this sparks something interest in you. Yeah, I'm going to say something that's weird. You don't need an MCP server. You don't need it. What you need is to take your content and connect it to the MCP server that's connected to ChatGPT.
But that would only give you access to
ChatGPT.
That would only give you access to ChatGPT, though.
Yes, that would only give you access. But the good news, MCP is an open standard. Once you wrote that code or hired someone to write that code,
you just take the 3 prominent ones. I'm gonna connect into Gemini. I'm gonna connect into Anthropic. I'm gonna connect into OpenAI.
There you go. But that's
who would need to create their own server? Anybody?
You would create your own server if you were inside your own company, maybe, because you're trying to connect different sources in your company to something in the company.
So instead of creating your own large language model, you can create a data lake concept by building an MCP server in your network.
Yes. So let's say you have 50,000 employees and they're using Copilot.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. You and I, we all know that doesn't really work because the Copilot doesn't know any of your templates or any of your jargon or any of your stuff. And it's kind of useless. And so you try to build RAG models to help little departments do things. It's not scalable. If you took various content within your organization, built an MCP server and shared that to Copilot internally in your infrastructure, now your employees have access to real-time information.
Interesting, connective. How hard is it to build an MCP server?
It's open source. It's free. So you just need to have techie people. It's not something you do have to write some code. It's going to be Python code. You need some people that can code. By the way, you could vibe code it.
Yeah, my vibe coding. I'll tell you what, my vibe coding is horrible. Ask Laura about my vibe coding.
But you could get this built probably within time, because anytime there's an issue, people can make money. There's probably people going to make MCP servers that are easy, no code, like an N8N kind of thing. I believe, actually, I didn't even look into this. I believe N8N does have an MCP server. I think it does.
We need to talk to Alex Townsend about that and dig into that more and put some more connection around that. At the conference, Alex will be there, so we can throw that out. He's our N8N guru at this point in time. All right, George, we covered a lot. I think I don't want to go beyond this because we can hit this again. But first off, phenomenal job, Mr. Churchwell. You got this stuff well in hand. I love it. And you explain it so well and explain it so succinctly. So I thank you for that. George is going to be at the conference that Laura put down there. So please don't hesitate to join us at the conference. Let's keep moving, George. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Take care. All right, you guys. Take care. Thank you. Reach out if you want to take it.